Certainty can be a seductive trap. It feels good to be sure, to be right, to know. But history, science, and personal experience all point to one brutal truth. The ideas that go unquestioned are often the ones that lead us the most astray. From empires to everyday lives, the unwillingness to ask, "What if I'm wrong?" has cost people everything. Imagine this. You spend 10 years building something, a business, a belief, a relationship, only to realize you were climbing the wrong ladder. And worse, the clues were always there. You just never stopped to question what felt obvious. In today's video, we're going to explore the profound power of questioning your own certainty. We'll dig into why the most dangerous ideas are the ones we don't even realize we need to question, and how the greats in every field built their empires on the back of doubt, curiosity, and self-audits. By the end, you'll walk away with 5 game-changing strategies for building mental flexibility, improving decision-making, and protecting yourself from the blind spots that destroy potential. Because here's the truth. Certainty feels safe, but growth lives in doubt. We are conditioned to believe that confidence comes from certainty, that the smartest people are the ones with the most answers. But what if that's completely backwards? Let's look at the scientific method, literally the foundation of progress. It doesn't start with certainty. It starts with a hypothesis, an educated guess. Then it tries to prove itself wrong over and over. That's how breakthroughs happen. And yet, in real life, most of us do the opposite. We defend our beliefs. We double down when challenged. We avoid discomfort. But comfort is the enemy of growth. As author Adam Grant puts it in his book, Think Again, the purpose of learning isn't to affirm our beliefs, it's to evolve our beliefs. Mental flexibility isn't about being wishy-washy. It's about being strong enough to pivot when new evidence shows up. Psychologists call this cognitive humility. It's the willingness to admit, I might be wrong. Let me look again. Think of it like upgrading your phone. You don't cling to the same model forever because you're loyal. You update because better versions come out. Why should your thinking be any different? Here's a practice. Once a week, ask yourself, what is something I believe strongly? And how might I be wrong about it? This one question can transform your thinking over time. The greats have something most people don't, a brutal inner feedback loop. Steve Jobs was known for his intensity, but also for gathering honest opinions, even from interns. Elon Musk has publicly said you should actively seek negative feedback, particularly from friends. It may be unpleasant, but it's very helpful. Your brain is a courtroom. Don't let it become a dictatorship. Surround yourself with people who aren't afraid to challenge your thinking. And more importantly, learn to challenge yourself. When you feel 100% certain, pause. That's the signal. Ask, what could I be missing? Take any belief you're sure about. Now argue the opposite. It feels strange, even fake at first. But this technique, used in elite debate clubs and critical thinking workshops, helps you reveal blind spots. It's not about changing your mind. It's about sharpening your understanding. Example, you might believe that working harder always leads to success. Now argue the opposite. Could working smarter be better? Could rest be more valuable? Could hustle culture be a myth? This mental flip builds intellectual agility and makes you less likely to fall into the trap of unexamined certainty. Let's talk about the Titanic, the unsinkable ship. That certainty led to fewer lifeboats. Over 1,500 people died, not because of a technical flaw, but because of overconfidence. Or consider Kodak. They invented the digital camera and shelved it, convinced that film would always dominate. That certainty cost them an empire. Closer to home, how many people stay in the wrong job, relationship, or identity because they're certain it's the best they can do? History rewards the curious and punishes the rigid. Replace judgment with curiosity. Instead of saying, "That's wrong," ask, "Why do they see it that way?" Curiosity is the antidote to arrogance. Even Einstein once said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." That's it. The man who reshaped our understanding of the universe didn't cling to certainty. He chased the unknown. Make it your goal not to win arguments, but to understand better. Doubt is an uncomfortable condition, but certainty is a ridiculous one. Voltaire, "It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." Mark Twain, "A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer." Patti is wise. These aren't just poetic, they're warnings from minds who lived through the consequences of unchecked certainty. In ancient Indian philosophy, the concept of neti, meaning not this, not that, teaches that the path to truth often lies in stripping away assumptions, not stacking more beliefs. In Filipino folklore, there's the tale of the Bakunawa, a mythical sea dragon blamed for swallowing the moon. For centuries, people created rituals to protect against it. But once eclipses were scientifically understood, the story shifted. Knowledge replaced superstition. Every culture has examples of mistaken certainty eventually giving way to deeper truth. Consider the rise of artificial intelligence. Just a few years ago, most experts were certain it would take decades to reach the capabilities we now see in ChatGPT and other tools. Certainty kept many companies from preparing, and now they're scrambling to catch up. Whether it's finance, education, or creativity, those who regularly asked, "What if we are wrong about this?" are now leading the future. Meet Jason. In his 20s, he built a startup based on the idea that college students wanted on-demand tutoring. He was sure. Raised $500,000, hired a team. But the users didn't show up. Instead of pushing harder, he asked the painful question, "What if I'm solving the wrong problem?" Turns out, what students really wanted was mentorship, not just tutoring. He pivoted, relaunched. The new company got acquired 3 years later. His success came not from clinging to his idea, but questioning it. Think of your beliefs like software. If you never update them, they become buggy, outdated, vulnerable to viruses, false assumptions, toxic habits, limiting mindsets. Or think of certainty as a locked door. It keeps danger out, but it also traps you inside. Questioning is the key. A study published in Psychological Science found that people who engage in intellectual humility, acknowledging they might be wrong, make better decisions, and are more open to feedback. Another study from Stanford shows that leaders who model curiosity and admit uncertainty foster more innovative teams. The data is clear. Certainty doesn't make you smarter. Questioning does. What's one belief you've held for a long time that you're now starting to question? Drop it in the comments. Let's create a space where self-inquiry isn't shameful, it's powerful. And if this video made you think differently, share it with someone who needs a gentle push to rethink the obvious. Regularly question your certainty, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to grow. The most dangerous ideas are the ones that hide in plain sight, protected by confidence, never tested by curiosity. The greats, Einstein, Jobs, Musk, Curie, they all ask themselves, what if I'm wrong? Again and again. You want real success, real clarity, real transformation? Then here's your new mantra. Strong beliefs, loosely held. Be bold enough to believe and wise enough to doubt.